Hello, everyone. My name is Alexander Ermenkov. I'm a ruling reality coach. You can understand and see more about me on alexanderermenkov.com. And I'm doing daily live talks called Daily Reality with Alex, where I'm expressing different things regarding reality and why the construct of reality is created the way it is. And through these reality talks, you are going to understand how and why I am experiencing and have decided to move through reality the way I'm moving, and how I'm actively working with the 4 quadrants of reality. And the 4 quadrants of reality are the internal individual, everything that is happening within us, the internal collective, everything that the human beings have gathered till the moment, all the worldviews, all the religions, everything that is the so-called common ground for all of us. Then we have the external reality, which is basically 2 parts. It is the external individual. Each one of us has its external part, and it is our body. And then we have the external collective, and the external collective is all the ecosystem we are creating around us. And this is the so-called generational wealth, all the civilization, everything that we the human beings are, through our expression, building around all of us. But today I would like to speak about the religious reality. I know a lot of people, and also am communicating with different types of people constantly. And I am a religious person from 17 years old. I've never been religious before this, or at least I thought so. And now I'm 48, so more than 30 years, I am involved into the Christian religion. And all the time, I'm trying to explain to myself and to present to others that, of course, I'm religious, but I'm not following all the different guidings, and there are so many different ideas about religion and so on. But from the perspective of reality, what is important to know, is it possible with the human beings to exist without the existence of higher beings and without the existence of creators? And is it possible to create a world where religion doesn't exist? Because approximately, I don't know what is the percentage, but at least the leading class of today, because we are 7th of February 2023, is not liking religion or is using religion. And we know from the thought leaders from the last 200 or 300 years that religion is the opium of the masses, and this is something that is creating ignorance and is creating decadence in people. But what is the reality telling to each of us? And now I'm going to deconstruct a little bit reality with you in order to understand that there are different levels of religion experience, and all of us are, in a sense, experiencing it. And it doesn't matter if it's soft religions, because there are a lot of soft religions in the moment in different areas of society. And we think that all these soft religions are actually no religions, but they are. And then when we go into a specific religion, we immediately go into disconnection from others. And we, the human beings, don't like this. We like ecumenism. We like that everything is one. We know that mostly, not all, but maybe 70 to 80% of all the world wars and conflicts are because of religion. And since the religions are in the core of the human being and the understanding how to behave and how to act and how to interact with reality, For me, of course, I know the society doesn't like to speak about religion. The society doesn't like to speak about money. And there are some themes and some things that are 100% forbidden in a normal societal talk of the modernity of today. When we are on a business meetings, because I like and I have a lot of business meetings, we usually don't speak about religion and politics. And this is the normal way how we are moving into creating businesses, because everyone is different and it doesn't matter in business what are your core beliefs. But what about the reality in which we are living daily? And I'm just going now to give you the fundamentals why it's impossible to be alive, to exist, and not have anyhow interaction with religion. I have friends that are 100% and relatives that are 100% stating that they're atheist and they don't believe that anything but the body exists. And once we die, it's done. While we are living, everything we are doing is only for the body. But as I told you, the construct of reality is created from 4 different quadrants. So if we think that only if we experience quadrant number 2 of reality, and we are very good physiological person, and everything we do is in the quadrant number 2 of reality, and only the relationship between me and my body is important and nothing else, and health is the only important thing in reality, and while my mind and while my perception and while my brain is working, then I'm functional, I'm interactional, and this is the only thing that matters in reality. But once we understand how the human being is created, we understand that only if we are experiencing reality in this quadrant, the body, we are not able to express all of who we are. Because in the quadrant 1 of reality, where is our internal being, where is our inner self, where is everything that we cannot see, and I have defined it as the limitless being inside of us. And here we create a big paradox, because we are experiencing from the 5 senses, the external 5 senses, because of the realm of forms and the realm of effects. We see this body and we know that this body has shape, it has a specific form and so on. So it's limitation. How it's possible in a limitation to exist limitlessness? How it's possible in a specific limitation to exist infinity? And since we, the human brains, cannot understand this, it is something that is confusing us a little bit. But anyhow, reality is created by the building blocks of the paradoxes in order with the human beings to be able to understand and experience that there is something more in reality than just what we think it is out there. Because through our experience, we are able to touch approximately 2, 3 to 5% of what reality is. And through our filter, we call perception, we are deciding to extract out of reality only this thing that is important in the moment for us, and the thing that we are able to accept and make us comfortable. If in the moment in my data stream comes a lot of information regarding how, for example, Christianity is false, it is a fake religion, it is created by the Romans, it is just nothing, nothing ever existed, everything is just storytelling, there is another meaning behind this, it is only way to program us, and because I want to really position myself as a ruling reality being, and I'm going through, and I have a lot of different information that I'm listening in order not to stay only in one bubble and not to create a perception that is not allowing me to perceive the raw reality. Because all of us, especially the ones that are trying to be truth seekers and the ones that are really willing to understand and comprehend what we are, why we are, where we are, what is the purpose and meaning, we don't care about religions, we don't care about the constructs or whatever we have realized till now. We really want to experience and to understand reality as it is. And more of humanity is not like this, and these people that are really striving towards understanding reality as it is, they are called the so-called awake people, and all the others are in a sleep mode because they live in a different bubble of comfort and they don't seek something else, and they are very comfortable with what is in the moment. But what I'm willing to express today is about the existence of creator, and maybe 95% or even 100% of the population is eager to agree that there is something more than the physical matter reality, and we can call it the architects of the matrix. We can call it the forces, we can call it the universe, or whatever we want, but some of us are personalizing it, and approximately 3/3 of humanity is personalizing the creators with persons. Because every one of us as a human being is a person, at least we think so, because in the moment I'm not only energy, and even if I'm only energy, I'm very unique energy, depending and comparing with the other energies that are around me that we call beings. And since we have a specific expressions, we call ourselves personality. And then we come to the existence of the psyche and all these things that are not material, but we give them words. And now we are coming in the quadrant number 2 of reality, the so-called collective internal. We, the human beings, are exchanging between us maybe 90% of internal information, and through the decoding of language, we are understanding it. And when I'm doing sometimes my videos, for example, my wife told me that it's not understandable, nobody can, it's very hard to follow me, and I'm speaking and talking in a way that is not very constructive and constructed in small sentences so that people can understand. And this is not my agenda. I'm not speaking and talking reality talks with Alex in order everyone to understand, or in order what I'm expressing to be understandable. Understanding and knowledge is a very low level of extracting from reality. In reality, everything is extracted. It's something that cannot be expressed with words, and we cannot even call it feeling. A lot of people are calling it feeling, but there are so many levels of feeling, and the physical part of feeling is one thing, but I sense it more like an intuitional type of a grasp, and it is more like strings in reality, where once you find a string, it's like an archive, and then you start to re-archive it through all of your life. Everything we are seeing and understanding and exploring in reality is actually something that we are going to work through all of our life. And since reality is created of very simple things that are constantly interacting with each other, and it is creating a complex reality, and that's why it's very hard for the human being to comprehend it, because we are always focusing on a small part of reality. We try to create knowledge. We try to create science out of it. We try to create subjects. We create different specific, so to say, studying of this specific part, and we become professors, we become PhDs in these specific areas. And today we have psychology, we have psychiatry, we have biology, we have physics, we have all the fundamental reality subjects. And still the human beings are not understanding reality, because reality is interactive. It is nothing of all those things that are described in the educational system. It is the interdisciplinary expressions and interactions and flows between all of this. And I know this because I'm constantly discussing it with my kids, which are constantly learning different subjects and are all the time telling me, why should I learn this since it's not going to give me anything in life? I'm not going to use biology in the sense that it is created in a subject. I'm not going to use chemistry directly, but we are chemistry, we are biology. Without biochemical reactions, I cannot experience my internal. I cannot experience, without biochemical reactions, the so-called spiritual world. Is it existing without my body? I cannot tell for sure, because I'm experiencing it only through the body. So since everything is interconnected in reality, we cannot separate different things. And that's why, in order to express more about today's subject and keeping in mind the 4 quadrants of reality, I'm willing to express why it's not possible the human beings to go through life without understanding the existence of higher beings, existence of creators, and existence of higher conscious governing persons or forces that are governing all the construct and are guiding humanity in different directions. Because when we go into solipsism and when we think that it is only us, we are the gods and we are creating reality, and this is to some extent truth, but it is only truth in the sense that we have a limited ability to be part of the generating of the objective reality, and everything in reality is listening to our voice. So our intent is important. The way we focus our attention is important. The way we spend our time is important. Everything we are doing every second in reality is 100% affecting everything, but it is not only our intent and voice that is important, because there are so much more going on in reality than only us. And then we have the different degrees of the so-called from soft religion to hard religion, from spirituality to 100% going into superstitions where nothing makes logic for the mind, and reality is never going to honor anything of this, specifically because reality is a complex construct. And the first thing we need to understand in reality is, before we are making all the choices and label ourselves as something specific, is to understand that even without labels, reality is still existing. And when we label something, we need to know that we cannot be only this specific label. For example, when I'm labeling myself as Christian, does it mean that everything else is not possible and probable to exist? Yes, it is. The only thing is that I'm trying and I have decided to experience reality through the collapsing of these specific ways, and some of the people that are thinking about this is calling it different type of archetypal existence, because we the human beings are empty vessels when we are entering this realm, and then we are to decide what type of operating system we are going to use if we speak with the programmable language, and which of the operative systems which are going to attach us to the above, because it's not possible we to exist only in the realm of reality where it's only us and nothing else is there, because the other thing that is out there is existing also and is interacting with us anyway. So we have a lot of deep choices that are making throughout our reality, and then we are to know how to be interactive with reality and how to work also with all the invisible forces that are forming our internal individual and our internal collective. And every being is making its own personal, intimate decisions. But anyhow, in order for us to understand the freedom of choice, we are to accept that anyhow religions are existing, because religious is everything that is connecting you to the above. It is the way the human being is trying to approach the gods or to approach the higher powers. And then from the understanding of reality, what is important for us to know is that the human being is not able to exist only in the limitation of the physical body without striving for something else and for bigger and higher experiences. And when there are some people that are willing to explain everything only with biochemical body functions, and then in our mind, we have the so-called third eye, and when the third eye is opened, all these different chemicals are entering there, and then we are experiencing something that we call gods or higher levels of consciousness or outer consciousness, and there are different type of explanations. And if you paraphrase them in religious terms, it is 100% the same thing, but with different labels. And all these type of labels, I'm calling them soft religions, because they're not using the old religious terms, but they're explaining the same thing. And there are a lot of so-called ancient hidden occult teachings that are explaining about all the different more sacred physiological things that are happening in our body and that are making us to go into the altered state of consciousness, where we become aware that there is something more than who we are. And of course, there are different techniques there, and you can go into different directions of understanding all of this. But the important thing is to know that it is not possible a human being to exist and to be moving through reality alone, solo, not with other beings, but solo, without being connected to the above. Anyhow, since we are to be connected to the above, we are to understand religions, and to understand, it doesn't matter if it's soft or hard or old religions or ancient religions, but at least we are to know that there are subtype of choices that we are constantly making. If there is someone in reality that is stating to you, I'm just a spiritual guy, and I don't worship any religions, and I'm not attached to anything religious, it is not possible, because even if this type of guy is a soft religion guy, all of us, the human beings, are created to be priests, to serve a higher purpose and meaning, and to be attached and to be constantly in a situation where we are trying to please the gods, to please the higher powers. Why this is so, I cannot answer you. Why there is so much information in the ancient books about this, why today we are trying to hide this existence, some of us are just doing it in secret, or in open, we are denying it, and then we make different rituals that are 100% the same thing as religious rituals, and we're saying, no, no, Alex, this is just incense. This is just a little bit of smell. This is just a little bit of creating a special atmosphere in order for me through meditation to feel myself, my higher self. I'm not calling it anymore God. It's my higher self. It's my alter ego. It's me and the universe. We are connecting together. I understand this, but it's still a soft religion. It's still a religious reality. And then we, the human beings, start comparing with each other, which is the best way, which is the best solution. I'm going to ignore this. I'm going to accept only this. I'm going to go only so far, or I'm going to go very deep into fundamentalism and 100% aligning myself with different religious steps. And there is dangers all around, and we can be enslaved very fast, and we can go into delusions immediately, because anyhow 90% of reality is constantly delusion, and we are learning how to understand reality by constantly excluding things as not helping us, not supporting us, and long term, if they are enslaving us, we are starting to resist them. Then how it's possible to actually experience reality and we to be the rulers of our reality, and with dignity to decide what type of relationship we are going to have with the higher powers, and why it's not possible to live without it. And then we go into very hard decisions of determination, and we don't want to go. We prefer to be independent, and a lot of the human beings in the moment are trying to resist the existence of higher powers and are trying to understand, create an independent humanity, an independent life, an independent existence away from the higher worlds that are above our, away from the higher realms that are created for us to be prosperous and to be successful and to be supportive for us. But since we prefer to be afraid, to be in survival mode, and to decide that the human being is the God of himself, and we are not going to allow anything else to exist, because this is our solipsism thinking, and we are going to close ourselves into this specific bubble, then we are constantly creating for us suffering because of the resistance, and we cannot understand the interaction with reality, and we cannot express freely, and we are constantly living in separation. But it is, of course, also possible. Anyhow, whatever we decide in this realm of reality, it is not possible for us without taking our choices, which are deep and intimate, about our core belief systems of existence. And of course, we can decide that we will never label things as the old religions were labeling them. And then we have the so-called Christ consciousness, we have the Christ impulse, we have different new labelings for the old religious experiences. And anyhow, from the perspective of reality, they are doing the same job, because nobody anyhow is able to express and to explain to any human being what is beyond this 5% perception that we all are able to grasp, but what is causing the world of form and what is causing the world of effect. we're just tapping in the internal collective, and we can go into the ancient books, we can go into the ancient rituals, we can go into our modernity and just understand how people are interacting, but these are just maps of what is out there, and nobody can experience for you or for me the territory of the unknown, the territory of the beyond. And there are specific wordings in the ancient texts about this. Is something that any human being is experiencing it alone and intimately and privately. But this is from where all energies are coming. This is from where we are understanding the essence of ourselves, and this is from where we are driving, as from a well, our source of meaning and purpose and desire to move through reality and become benefit for all. And anyhow, I was just willing to explain that the construct in reality is made in such a way that there are different levels of hierarchical beings, and we are just part of this hierarchy. There are beings below us for which we are responsible, but there are beings above us that are responsible and guiding the way humanity is developing and the way humanity is trying to express itself, and why this is important for all the beings that exist. I cannot answer these questions, and if all of us are honest, and this is how my quest for becoming a ruling reality coach started, and that's why I'm constantly exploring in all different directions, and I enjoyed so much that I don't know. And the more I go into the deep, the more I understand how little I know, and the more I'm in awe and adoration, and really I'm amazed of how there is no other possibility for the structure of reality to exist than the ones that is already created. And it doesn't matter how much we, the human beings, are trying to alternate it, to transhumanize it, to decide to do something else because of our dignity and rebellious type of thinking that it is possible. But long-term, humanity is really coming into alignment when we are stopping to resist the matrix, but start to understand our role in the construct of reality. And then we are entering our person of giving beings, because long-term, anyhow, our direction is from living beings or beings consuming life into becoming life-giving spirits, or we are anyhow into a transformational process of becoming beings that are constantly giving life away. We are not anymore consuming it, but we are just becoming part of the flow of supporting everything else that is supporting us. And then once we understand this construct, we're able to understand why the different religions are giving you small segments of everything that is. And of course, I can speak for hours and for months about my specific religion experience, but from the perspective of reality and the construct, it is important to understand the practicality and to know that the human being and its relationship to the higher powers is the most important thing that is driving us forward and supporting us. And the labels are not the most important thing, because of course, we the human beings are constantly fighting about them. Just a second. So this is what I was willing to share in this topic about religious reality. It is inevitable, and it is very good to not be delusioned that if you are involved in soft religions, we are not calling religions anymore. It doesn't mean that we are not involved. So instead of trying to be non-religious while experiencing soft religions, it is better to go into deep understanding of reality, which is much more than what we the human beings are. And of course, there is a lot of knowledge and understanding also on the biochemical reasons why the existence of God is part of the way the body works. Of course, if the body was not created in a specific way to experience this biophysical and chemical reaction in order to be able to experience these outer states, it was not going to be possible to understand that there is something more. So it is even in the design of our bodies, in our programs, in our genes, to go into this path of connecting with the higher powers. So thank you for watching. This is part of our relationship to higher power, to God. It is not possible to be in reality without understanding it, or at least it is going to limit you for almost all of your experience. So if you are really willing to perceive more, to really enter everything that is possible in the beyond, I have created one program, Ruling Reality Basic, which is really helpful about understanding everything without all the labels. And I am offering a little different things on alexanderarmenkov.com, 3 different programs that are going to help you to really be positioned as rulers of your own reality. Bye-bye and enjoy reality.